guys, Whitney from the Holiday Homestead. I am doing a little bit of seed saving today, and this is basically what we do this time of year. It is, oh gosh, November 18th, and no, 19th. Yeah, anyway, it's a Saturday, and we are doing some seed saving. So this is the end of the summer stuff, and we usually let the plant finish its full cycle. So we basically just let the seeds just stay on the plant until the leaves are dead, the vines are dead. The plant just looks terrible, and all that's left are these little seed pods. So we have green beans. These are Bush Lake. No, they're bush beans. They're Blue Lake. There we go. Blue Lake bush variety. Um, and then somewhere in here we go. I've got pole beans. And so these are also green bean, but these are the ones that grow up the vine. So these are a bit later producing than the bush beans. The bush beans are like my summer staple. They just come in strong and keep going all summer. Whereas these guys come in, they usually get their vines set right around the same time as the bush beans start producing, but they don't actually start producing beans until almost October. But when they produce a ton. So I kind of plant them as like my second round of green beans for a season. But it does take a lot longer for them to finish finish the full cycle and become nice and dried and ready for seed harvesting. Anyway, so if you're starting in seed saving, green beans in general are a fantastic way to start because they're super easy. They are, I would say, the easiest things I have to harvest for seeds, because it's very easy to see when the seed is ready. Because you can just feel. I'll get a different one because I just popped that one. Right, so you can just see, obviously the color is totally different. It has gone from green to kind of a light brown to a lighter brown to like a tan to this, really pale white kind of ivory color. And also, I don't know if you can hear that, there's seeds and you can hear them rattling around in there. That is for sure the perfect sign that they are ready to be harvested and saved for the following year. So, so there's a lot less guesswork, I guess, with green beans in general, because they are just so much easier. With a lot of other plants, especially like big flowering plants, it can be a little bit harder to know when the seeds are ready. And so, hold on, honey. No, you can't eat those. They're for seeds, honey. No, you can't eat those either. So anyway, so it's just really handy to use green beans to get started. So what I will show you is how I get the green beans, the seeds out. So like I said, they're super easy. This is one of my bush beans. And so you can hear how crunchy that pod is. There is nothing left in there. Porter, please don't play around there. Thank you. And so, yes, you can get some from the garden. Sorry, the other stuff I have to show you is ground cherries, and that is a favorite of that little boy. And so he always wants to eat the ones I'm trying to save for seeds because they're the biggest and the juiciest. So anyway, so yeah, so you just split them down the middle, and you just start to kind of move your thumb. I mean, you could even break them apart and crunch them. It really doesn't matter. But the point is, the seed, this is a huge one, wow. The seed is super big and super ready. It has dried, it has cured. That seed is ready for an envelope and to be left in a cool, dry place until next season. And so again, it takes a while. It can be kind of tedious. Sometimes I'll, I don't know, sit down and listen to some music or something while I'm doing this because it takes a while. But the payoff is that you get seeds that are specific to your area. So they'll grow. They like your soil, your climate, the way you care for them. All of that is such a huge benefit to a gardener, because you know it's at least you have what it takes to make that plant grow, instead of taking kind of that, you know, crapshoot every year, every season, hoping that that brand new pack of seeds will work for you. Um, and really that's what it is. You're kind of rolling the dice as far as, you know, what that seed wants and what you provide. But saving your own seeds, man, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. And it's nice to have a dependable variety that I can trust and that I know how to care for. And so yeah, so it's worth it to me to do a little extra work here. Plus, I tell you, I mean, you pay $5 or something for a nice organic seeds, like a pack of 100, or you can do it for free just for a few hours of your work, and you've got incredibly good seeds that will last. So yeah, okay. So so that's the butch. What, honey? I'm okay. Then get Porter to open the door for you. Annika, sorry. Okay, here we go. So that's the Blue Lake bush beans. And I say Blue Lake, I mean, that's the seed packet that I started with like 5 years ago. So they might be some crazy, totally random variety at this point. But hey, that's what I work with. All right, and then these are the pole beans. Oops. The pole bean variety. There we go. Those are nice. And so I do keep them separate because I do plant them in separate areas. The pole beans go along the fence line to trellis up the fence, and the bush beans go in their rows so I can get to both sides and pick as I go. So anyway, so there's that. Next, I have these little dealies. This is sweet basil. So if you let your sweet basil, like the stuff if you buy it from the grocery store or something, you know, like the plant from the grocery store, or if you actually get seeds and just do it yourself, this is what the seed pod looks like from the basil. It just kind of grows up from the center after the plant gets stressed enough where it goes to seed. And all you do is each one of these little bundles of flowers, you dry it. You can dry these in your home. I've done that before, where I'll clip them while they're still green, and I will hang them upside down in my pantry, and it does work. But this year we have so much going on that I just didn't even get to take clipping them off when I probably should have. But either way, what you end up with is this. So you break up the little flower bundles, and you kind of pinch them, and this is why it's really important for them to be dry when you're working with your seeds, because you're crunching. You want to crunch up the flower base, all that stuff that held the seed in, and if you do a little winnowing, the little black dots, those are your seeds. And so you just hang on to those. I usually put my seeds in envelopes because they are very easy to label, easy to dry. I know some people do use plastic baggies, and some people use mason jars. I've had mixed results with those because of moisture. Anytime you're kind of sealing up something, you are inviting moisture unless you have really taken good care to dry everything out and keep it in a dry area and make sure it's not going to get any moisture while it's storing, and make sure there's no moisture in it when you put it away to store. So there's a lot more I think that goes into sealing it in some kind of airtight container. I prefer envelopes, paper envelopes, because they're very breathable and I don't have to worry so much. I also do store my seeds in a metal filing cabinet. It's just 2 drawers. It's a short little thing, it sits near our desk, and it's cool, it's dry, and I keep it in the living room because that's where the wood stove is, and the wood stove tends to suck out all the moisture in the air, so it really helps to keep that environment near my seeds a relatively good temperature and dry. Now I will say it's not next to my wood stove. You don't want to get them too hot. You just want to get them where they're not going to freeze unless you intend to freeze them, and someplace where the temperature is fairly regular, basically, and nice and dry, like I said. Okay, also, so there's the basil, and it takes a little while, so I tend to just do my basil when I have some time to sit around. And then the other one I want to show you is berries, ground cherries. So anytime I'm saving like wet fruits, I use a different method. Obviously, yes, you can dry them, but that tends to compromise the seed itself. So I usually don't dry like wet fruits like this. I usually use toilet paper. So I will show you what I mean. So I have here your standard toilet paper, and just use a few sheets. I lay it down, and then, oh, this is funny. I broke my knife yesterday. I was using it to split kindling, and it just broke. So isn't that fun? But it still cuts though. I have a little bit there until I get a new one. Oh well. Anyway, so you want to cut the fruit open, and you know you can see in there lots and lots of seeds. But shh, guys, but they're all really wet. And so the problem is you want the seeds out, you want them to dry properly, but you also want them well, they're in a wet casing basically. So what I do, no honey, hang on. So what I do is I scrape out the pulp with the seed, see, like that. And then I smear it, smear, onto the toilet paper. So there's seeds, there's wet, there's pulp, there's all kinds of stuff. And I just wipe it onto the toilet paper from my finger. And I just keep going. Even chunky stuff, like this is kind of chunky, see? And I take it, and if it's really chunky, I'll like smash it down a little bit to break up the pulp part of it. But either way, you take your pulp, you take your seeds, all that stuff, and you just mix and you just smash it down. So what you end up with is this. And you can see there's just little blobs of seed and pulp and whatever. And I do kind of try to space it out a little bit so the seeds kind of have their own space, you know. I don't want them all clumped up together, because what's going to happen is next season, I'm going to use this paper and I'm going to pinch off each little seed. Well, not pinch it, like I'm going to like pull a little clump of seed and toilet paper off and plant that. And so I don't want them smushed in together, because then I'm trying to break up this little ball of seeds. I want the seeds kind of in a single layer on the toilet paper. There we go. See? Single layer on the toilet paper, so that they're really easy next season. Just come and just take one, put it in the ground. And it's fine if there's toilet paper with it. It doesn't matter. It's so thin, it just kind of biodegrades, and you know, you're fine. But the trick is, after I finish smearing the pulp, see all that? There's pulp, there's seed, all that stuff. After you finish and you get the seeds kind of layered out in one single layer, you want to let this toilet paper dry. So usually I will take it and set it in my kitchen on a shelf. Not too high up, like where I'll forget about it, but you know, something that is kind of out of the way, where I can just let it sit and dry for probably, I don't know, maybe 3 days, depending on how dry the air is in your house. But basically, just check it regularly. And when the paper is completely dry, not just like, kind of damp, but it's okay. No, it has to be like bone crispy dry. Then I'll take the paper and the seed and all of it together, and I roll it up. And here's what I did before. Roll it up and put the whole thing inside an envelope. And so that will preserve the dryness that you have, and also it keeps the seeds, if any fall off of the paper, it keeps them in something contained, because sometimes you will have seeds, very nice, you will have seeds that will fall off of the paper itself. So, so you just want to make sure that you don't lose seeds off your paper. Just put an envelope, it's easy to label, and that way you know what's in there. Like these are, okay, hold on honey, I'm filming. These are pumpkin seeds that I did, gosh, I want to say like maybe 2 weeks ago. And I just left them on my kitchen counter, and they were pulpy and sticky and all that, and I just smeared them off. Honey, go play, guys, please. Um, in a single layer, and then dried it. And you can see some of them have actually come off the paper because they're just so dry and crispy. And that's fine. I just leave them all in together and then put them, the whole thing, paper and all, in there, seal it up. That's good for next year. So, so that's what's going to happen with this toilet paper here. And you can kind of see, that there's a fair amount of seeds on here. It doesn't look like much, but there's probably 300 seeds on this one piece of toilet paper. Anyway, so that's basically it, guys. The dry method with the beans, the little, basil, crunching up that, all the way down to the toilet paper for wet, pulpy things. And wet, pulpy things are going to be like tomatoes, watermelons, cantaloupe, all the melons, certainly ground cherries, berries, any kind of berries, raspberries, gooseberries, all the stuff that you might be using. I use this for huckleberries as well. And again, you just open up the berry and just smear it out nice and thin on the paper. And it really does work. This is what I've used for years, and I haven't come up with any problems so far. Anyway, so I hope this helps, guys. And I have to go tend to my kids because somebody's having a meltdown. Yes, very nice. Anyway, bye. Thank you.